Can you guys see me any better? I can't see me, so.
Oh yeah, I see you good.
All right, cool.
All right, we're now live, everybody. Everybody, welcome to the E.C.B.R.O. Discovery News broadcast. Tonight, we're going to just talk about evidence, and I'm going to try to share my video. Now, the way I will share my video for viewers watching, you will not be able to see the, hear the audio. It is just recently, freshly uploaded to my YouTube channel. If you guys want to check that out, it's titled E.C.B.R.O. Bigfoot Trackway. Like I said, it's a 12-minute and 36-second video showing a trackway that me, Greg Corbin, and his son Kai discovered behind our camp. And then in the video, you'll see how we mark each track that we found, and because what I did, I took dry plaster powder, plaster repairs, and I just sprinkled it, marking each track. And then we did a measurement of the stride, which was pretty interesting. That I don't want to give off too much detail to let you guys see it. Now, Ray, you said you're on your phone, right?
Correct. Yep,
okay.
Sure am.
Because the other thing I thought about doing is we could all watch it if we all go to the YouTube link app that's on the Google Plus Hangout right here, which if you're on a phone, you wouldn't be able to do it. That's the only problem. You'll be able to see the video, but you wouldn't be able to hear the audio if we were to try to do it that way.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so if you wanted to, hear it and listen to all the details that we talk about and stuff in the video, you would have to actually watch it separately.
Okay.
Although there is an alternative I could do. I could try to play at the same time through my phone while while we play the video, so you guys might be able to hear it that way.
All right, let me take it off the YouTube thing, yeah.
Well,
Daniel, what if you played it and explained to us?
Okay, yeah, I could. Yeah, I could narrate through it if I had to do it that way.
I mean, that would work. But whatever you decide, that was just an idea.
Okay. Yeah. Before I actually get to that, I will mention that we put in a lot of miles on our feet. We did a lot of hiking, and from where we were camped at, and I'm gonna try not to jump from one thing to another because I learned some interesting stuff after I got done camping. I learned things today when I was at work because the gentleman, the individual who turned me on to this actual location, from the stories he's gathering and the experience that he had himself, well, he was describing the exact location of where his incident happened. And when I told him where I was at, it confirmed the location was. I was at the actual location. I did not know it. I know I was within that area, but I didn't know I was actually at the actual location where it happened to him. It's also happened to one other individual in his family, but I don't think they were in the same area. They might have been up a little ways, but so that kind of made me excited there. But now the other thing is here, these tracks were not fresh, but they were pretty well distinct. You could not mistake them for anything else. Especially with a stride. Let me try to see how I'm going to do this here real quick. All right, give me 1 second.
Was the stride about 5 to 6 feet apart from heel to toe?
Yeah, well, I measured from heel to heel, which it was 5 feet that way.
Okay, heel to toe, it'd still be the same thing, about 5 foot, yeah.
Yeah, because the tracks were 15. They were 15-inch tracks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Would that be the same one that shook the trailers?
It's funny. That's what I'm wondering. I mean, I don't know. Because that first night we were there, we seen an eye shine across from us in the little field. Of course, there was no mistake. At first, when I first saw the eye shine was around 6 foot, about 6 foot high. But when I saw the head bob down and two other sets of eyeballs pop up next to it, I knew they were deer. They were big deer. um, yeah, and another thing, as far as besides deer, there's actually there was two deer kills in the area as well. One was a lot fresher than the other one, and it wasn't far from camp. Right now, I'm trying to browse and figure out how to do this without messing nothing up.
You remember
how I did this?
Do you remember how Shane did
hold up. Yeah, hold up. I got it now. Give me 1 second.
Because the way Shane did it, we would have to have the YouTube share thing on there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna post the link to a messenger, and then I'll just click it from there because I don't want to close my windows out.
All right.
Not to interrupt your train of thought there, Dan, but you're talking about the deer kills.
Oh no, you're fine.
Was there any like what was the kills like? Was the predation on like internal organs too, or was there actually like tissue removed? I mean, what did you see?
Well, let's put it this way. As far as the deer kills go, now it's actually hard to actually pinpoint what may have done it. The first thing I was finding was the limbs.
Okay.
Snapped in an angle, which I found that very interesting. I have that on. That won't be on this video. I have that on a separate video I have to work with to upload. And then I kept walking around trying to look around, and I came across another limb, which was very interesting. They were there long enough to where if you look around some of the joints and stuff, where you can see other critters and did some small gnawing at the bones and stuff, but all right, hold on 1 second. All right, let me see here.
Yeah, because if a squatch broke a deer's leg, it would to make it clean to break it.
Right.
Bear or a coyote or mountain lion tried to break that leg, they would have deep gouges in the bone.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I've only found one deer kill like that in my area. That was like 5 years ago.
And most of the time too, if it's a mountain lion kill.
Yeah.
Hold on. I think Paul Hayes is trying to. Hey, Frank, could you take the link, copy the link, and are you able to get it to Paul Hayes while I work on this? Not Paul Hayes. I mean Paul.
Yeah. Wait a minute here. Let's see. Paul. Send it to who?
Paul. Oh man, I'm trying to think of other. Paul Halsley. I'm sorry, my mind's up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just hold on.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get on it. He wants the link, but I'm trying to screen share and set this other thing up right here.
Okay. Let me do it this way. All right. Click here. Copy.
He messed with me, Paul Halsley. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Paul. My mind went blank. I know he's watching and listening. So. All right, hold on here. Let me go back to this. All right, hold on. Let me present to everybody because I'm going to enlarge this. All right, let me go back to the other page. Boom. Oh, what the heck did I do? I'm trying to enlarge it. Full screen. Full screen is unavailable. Why? What? Ah, there we go. Wait a minute. It says. Let me try this. All right. All right. I'm gonna wait till everyone's there. because I can't see I'm on a different screen than you guys right now. Because I can't see the Google Plus Hangout screen. Oh, wait a minute. I'll jump back for a second. See what's going on. All right. I think Fred's working on trying to get Paul in here.
Yeah, I saw you
Let's
vanished.
just kind of sit tight for a second. He's probably trying to copy and paste the link to him. Because I don't know, it's kind of confusing. I have too many things
all you
popped
have
up
to
right
do
now.
is share it. I can go share it.
Yeah, yeah. With the link, all you have to, you can just copy the link and paste it. So, let me see. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see if I could copy text. All right, here I might be able to get it to him. All right, there. I was able to do it through my phone. I was able to copy it through my phone because usually I could only send it from the computer, but since I already posted it, I was able to get it through the computer. Now I don't know where Fred went. All right.
Damn it.
All right. All right.
Hey, there he is.
All right, Fred. Yeah. Paul should be. Oh, there he is.
There you go. All right, let me see here.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna jump back to the other page, and so I can start click play on the video. Hey, by the way, Paul, before I play the video, what I did with these tracks, I got this idea from you, by the way. But I didn't have flour. I used dry plaster instead, so it worked great though. So,
yeah, I'm just seeing that. Just seeing that. That looks real good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Let me
That's
go
a
ahead.
good way to do it, Daniel.
Oh yeah, and I was able to. You'll see in the video that I was able to do a. While I was holding the camera, I was able to get my tape measure out, and yeah. Let me jump to the other page. Is everybody ready for me to enlarge it and click play?
Yep, rock and roll, buddy.
All right, and like I said, keep in mind, I'm the one that's gonna be able to hear the audio. So,
Well, we've been hearing the audio. I've been hearing the audio of you talking.
oh yeah. So, all right, here we go. All right, it looks like the video's kind of fast right now. Oh, I can't even hear the audio of my own video right now. That's weird.
Okay, have you got
Usually I hear it on my end.
Have you got the part where you pulled the tape measure out yet?
No. Right now it's pointing out each track right now. There's one in particular that I found that was just inside the tree line where I found it. When Greg and his son came by to check it out, Greg's son started pointing out a couple tracks. And then he got further back and saw where they were coming from. Now see these two right here? Let's see, it kind of went. There's our camp right there. Now these tracks are not fresh. They weren't fresh because they were. I think they would have showed a little bit better and a lot better detail. If it goes back down to the true tracks, all right. I want to pause it right here. These two right here were a lot closer than 5 feet. Now, because in the video, if you watch the video, because apart from the 5-foot stride the other ones had, this deer, if you watch and listen to the video, you'll hear Greg say it too, and I was in agreement with him because as it stepped out here more in the open, it was kind of like more of a cautious take, like it was stopping, try to, because this is an area where there's a lot of deer in this area. We had deer across our camp the first night. I mean, they were watching us. I mean, but it's like they knew they were unharmed. But there was all three of us there watching the deer at night. So yeah, these two tracks were very interesting. This one right here that my mouse is going around, this was the very first one that I found right here. Then the other ones kind of came in and followed after Greg's son Kai, and Greg were pointing things out. So I'll go ahead and play the video. Now, if you guys get a chance, definitely watch it with audio. There's Greg taking some pictures. Kai was over here. He was looking at some of the tree limbs. He noticed that a couple of the tree limbs up high were broke and snapped off, which were pretty interesting. And right down behind where Greg and Kai are standing, there's a nice stream through there that flows.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Yeah, it kind of bites that I can't.
Yeah, hey, Paul's got a question for you, Daniel.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Paul. I'll pause it for a second.
All right. Right there where the two
right.
tracks pass, looks like a small tree.
Let me see.
Like a laurel bush or something like that.
Hold on. Let me back up a little bit.
They're just
This tree right here,
no. Keep going.
or
Further up.
all right, a little further back.
No, yeah, keep going.
You keep going back.
Yeah, I'll let you know when you get there. Right there. All right. See that?
Okay. Oh, you want
You
me
see
to
the tree to
Oh, did I go
to the
past it?
right? Yeah, you went past it a little bit. Back up just a hair. Right there.
Yeah.
That
Oh, you
tree.
talking about this little tree
there.
right here? This little thing sticking up?
No, the
Yeah.
one to the right of it. See the two main parts of the small bush or whatever that was right there to the right of the track.
That looks like
Like a laurel or something like that. That's what it looks like. The reason why I'm asking is because it depending on the tracks, what you would want to do is kind of get right there to see if whatever it was, if it was standing upright, would it have cleared that small bush, or if it was real close to it, because if it's real close to it, then that's more likely a bear. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that's 6, 7 foot tall and that tree is right there next to the track and it's leaning out into the track way, then there's no way it could walk past it without its shoulder hitting or its, you know.
I think we lost Daniel.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is too. I think we lost Daniel.
yeah,
He'll be back.
yeah,
He'll be back.
the bush, that bush right there, the two on the right side of the trackway,
Mm-hmm.
look like laurel brush. But the thing about it is, laurel brush, and here in my area and up in that area should be still green, because laurel bush don't lose their leaves. That's another kind of
Okay.
bush that blooms
Yeah, that's true.
little small, and it's a bush too. But it's kind of like something like how's it called, like a fern type bush. It grows small green leaves, but in the springtime it has buds on it.
All right. Sorry, guys, about
Well,
that.
that's
I don't
why
know what
I'm
happened.
saying. That's why I'm saying that if the tracks are real close to that bush, now if it had been a 6 or 7 foot tall individual, then what you got to see is you measure up from the outside track, and if it comes in line and hits that bush, then you know that whatever it was smaller and wasn't standing upright.
Yeah.
But in the video, can we see how tall those forks are
From what I've
and how
seen,
much they branch out into the pathway.
yeah, from what I've seen, that bush is probably about 4.5 foot tall, maybe 5.
That's what I'm saying. If you can take a tape measure and stand it up vertically in that outside track, the one that's on the back side, and it clears that bush, then you know it was something standing vertical. But if it hits that limb, then it was horizontal on all fours.
But couldn't it have broken by a limb and not broken it?
It's very doubtful, because if it would have been a limb that would have came out enough to where the shoulder would hit, it would have kind of stepped to the side of it and not brushed against it.
Right.
Because brushing
Okay.
against it means you're going to leave tear,
Yeah.
and they don't like
Okay.
to. They don't like to. Yeah.
Well, see, I can't speak on
They
for
tend
down
to.
there with you guys, but I know up here I've seen actually where they go through a thicker area, and just like when I go through when you're hunting, you know, if it's something in your way, I've seen them snapped. But the difference is, like, it's not a always like smaller limbs. It'll be something larger and snapped out of the way completely, where it's not something I readily be able to do. I would probably have to use a machete or something to get through it.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
now Paul told me a couple of years ago about a trick to look for when you're in a pine thicket. And the squatches in my area love pine thickets. And he said if you walk,
Mhm.
you know how like in some areas they take and put pine trees in a row
hmm
in the woods. Okay. He says if a squatch has been there, there ain't gonna be no spider webs or anything like that, and the limbs will be out of the way to a point.
Right.
And
All right.
in the places that I go in my pine thicket, there are trails that don't have a bit of spider webs on them or something like that, and then others that'll just rip your face off with spider webs. So that's one way I know that they're in there.
Yeah.
All
They're
right. For
called
now,
big boy trails.
yeah. Right now, I'm not gonna try to screen share right now. For some reason, screen sharing is somehow knocking me off. I don't know if it's having the extra windows opened up or what, but I don't know. Network's a crappy network. It could be my browser. I don't know, but
Yeah.
so
All
I have to be careful doing that.
right, all right, Daniel, that trackway that's coming out of the woods, is there like a little trail right there, or is that
The,
just
there's
a
it
saddle?
appears to be a trail right behind it. What it is, I was told that's the old road, the old original roadway that originally came into that whole area many years ago.
Oh, okay, okay,
Because
okay,
that
'cause
used to be a lot of farmland in that area.
okay. The reason I was asking is then you got that patch behind it. Was that trackway coming out of the woods or coming off that old logging road? I just call it a logging road. Right
It's
there.
coming from, well, yeah, coming off that road. It's coming from that road, going through that small patch of those bushes right there. Those bushes around. If you're standing in the middle of them, those bushes are over 6 7 foot tall or higher. So, and right
Uh,
now, but keep in mind this time of year, they're not that thick and bushed out right now because as later.
I lost him again. Can't hear.
yeah, me
Can't
neither.
hear. Yeah, can't hear. All right, so what I'm gathering, the squash is that patch of woods. It was walking that road. It cut off the road and went straight toward I reckon right where the camper was. I reckon.
Well, did he say there was a stream back there behind where that guy was standing taking pictures?
I think he
Yes,
said,
you did.
yeah.
You said there was a stream behind him. Those two.
Okay.
Ah,
So whatever it was, come up out of that stream.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. So
Yeah.
when it come
Mhm.
up out of the
We still
stream,
got a good look at the pathway, the print.
yeah. Because I've been
well,
noticing.
if it was coming up out of the stream, and like I said, the
Oh
main
man,
thing you
I'm
want to
messing up.
do is on the tracks that are next to that bush, because if it was a 6 7 foot tall individual, it is not going to be hitting something that big. Now, if it was a small bush, I'd say, yeah, they'll just brush right past it. But if and it looks like it has maybe 1 inch in diameter main trunk
Yeah.
on whatever the bush is, where the two forks are coming up. So it's not going to be something that would be just brushed by. And it's not to say that his what he's found is not a Bigfoot track away. You want to just make sure that when you examine everything that you're looking at all possibilities. Could it have been a bear that was coming up out of the creek, and he's walking close to the trail? He's walking on that trail, and he walks close to an overhanging bush that he actually ducks under, or
Yeah.
you know
Well,
what I'm saying?
one thing I can honestly mention about that there. I was told, all right, one thing I was getting at before I got disconnected again, if you just go up about 20 to 30 feet up the stream from where Greg was standing, there is a very narrow, deep hollow that goes all the way up in there. The gentleman I work with, he says, he's heard weird noises come from that area. Not saying, he's just mentioned. And this guy here, he's a skeptic too. So, and he's heard some things that he couldn't identify or acknowledge. And, this man here, he could usually point out and tell you what every sound usually is. But he said he's heard some weird things come from that hollow. It's a deep hollow. It splits off of that creek, that stream right there, which goes up. He said the way he explains it goes up in an angle, and it gets steep the further you go in. I don't know what's up there. I just know on the one side it's a lot of woods. Over to the left there is a house up there, way up on the hillside. But yeah, he said on the one side it goes up the. It's not a high ridge, because right behind where Greg was standing on the other side of the stream, there is a short ridge up there. And I asked the guy, I said, is there a field up there? Because, it's just the way I looked at it, it looked like the woods was somewhat open. He said, nah, it's not no field up there. It's all wooded up there, and it goes in deeper into the national forest in that direction. So that, I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting. What's that?
I have a question.
Took you over. We had some hollows that are steep, but they're rocky. And
right.
And well, that night I camped out up there, I heard a bear, but the way he was up at a guttural, like a growl, but it was because of that hollow, I reckon, when I heard it.
Right. Yeah.
And everything. And if the hollow's that steep, could have produced a type sound.
I believe the lady has a
That's
question
the
for
thing
you.
off the top of my head. That's
Yeah. Go ahead, Leo.
Well, I try to keep myself muted, so
Yeah, go ahead, Leo.
I raise my hand.
Oh, okay.
My question is,
Yeah.
I guess for Paul, but for you too, Daniel. If it had been a bear, would it have double stepped that many tracks and also double stepped the short two when it got to the clearing?
I personally, I don't know. I believe you would have seen some kind of step in between, but then again, I mean, I don't know. It could have been I don't know. I think you.
Well,
You would like to. I would believe that there would be a track inside somewhere.
when you look at the bear tracks, what you have to think about is, like, on the left side might be the left rear foot, and the one that's up on the right is the front right foot, because they do have a tendency to double step, but you're also talking about a stride, that's going to be whatever that front paw is down to the back left paw, and it can be 4 foot, 5 foot. Sometimes it can be shorter, depending on the size of the bear.
yeah.
But what you're looking for is the two tracks, which would mean a stride, and the limbs that are coming up, if it's right next to it, if it's a vertical individual, then he'll clear it. But if it's a horizontal and it's leaning this way, he'll go under it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm just, whenever you present, like a trackway, that's the first thing you want to look at. Not all Bigfoot trackways are in a straight line, and not all bear trackways are in a straight line. Sometimes they are a little offset, and that looks like it's a little offset, but that's not what's going to identify it as a trackway. What's going to identify it as a trackway is what's in the path. If it's an open, clear path, or if it's got stuff that it actually would duck under. I've seen similar trackways before, and you take a good sized bear, and he's going to leave, and in the leaves, depending on, like I said, it looked like it was old. But I do definitely commend you on the putting down the casting the dust, because that right there, helps you to be able to look at it from the back, at an angle, to see if that really was something that's 6-7 foot tall with 40-inch shoulders, that's walking beside a bush, that if it's hanging out over the trail, then it's not. I mean, now could it have went down to all fours coming in? Well, you would have definitely been able to tell if it had done that.
Yeah.
Because there were.
Now this is right behind. This is directly the location where we found them right there. These are those bushes right here.
Yeah, those are the ones that's got in the springtime. They get you little teeny white flowers on them.
Yeah, they got right now. They're starting to bud. They got small little tiny leaves on them. If you can notice that right here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that bush right there is it's real flimsy. It's real soft wood. So when you hit it, it's kind of flimsy bush, because
some of these bushes kind of like twist. They have some of them have weird shapes to them too.
Well, you see how that one where you got your cursor going up at an angle?
Go ahead.
You see how that one's coming out at an angle? If your trackway is to the outside, and you, like I said, you take your tape measure and you put it up, and it runs into that, then whatever it was that passed by there was horizontal and not vertical. But now if it was in between that, which you can see that opening, and to the right of the opening, you see there's like 3 that are pretty close together. If your tape measure, when you stick it up, if it hits a main limb, then it was vertical. I mean, horizontal instead of vertical.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and go back and look at the video. I'm trying to pull it up.
Actually, yeah, because this here. Actually, I'm looking at the photo I have here, the full video, because I cropped this to show you the bushes. Actually, I don't know if I'll be able to get it. Yeah, there's still too much out of the way. But actually, on the other side of Kai's head is actually, there's a open space right there. There's kind of an open gap, and then the bushes continue. Because this is to the right of them. If you go to the left of this, is actually where it's more where the trackway was found. I'm gonna have to, if you watch a video, you'll see everything around there, everything that I show. I'm trying to see if I have a better view on one of my photos. I'm looking on my phone because I took pictures and video, both video on phone and the phone and my camcorder. Now here's one of the tracks.
I was just going to say, Paul, I wasn't disrespecting your opinion at all. I was just adding another perspective or question into it.
No, I'm
going to screen share. I'm going to screen share one of the tracks that were part of that trackway. All right, give me a second. Let me.
Now, Paul, up behind
This
up
is one of the
behind my.
tracks right here. That was one of them right there.
Is that his left
You can
foot?
see the. Yeah, this is right foot.
No.
The big toe is up this way,
All right.
and
So in other
here it
words,
comes down like this.
yeah, because I notice his toes are kind of crooked. They're going off to the right.
Yeah, but the big toe is definitely up here though,
Yeah.
and this is the track right here. Whoop.
So that has to be the trackway to come up and shook the trailer.
Well, not necessarily. I don't know. The thing is, I mean, this could have been another one or a different one or whatever. I don't know the time frame exact. You know, I don't know exactly how old these tracks are. I mean, they've definitely are weathered. I mean, they're not fresh or anything. So, but yeah, this is like the first one we came across right here, and this is the one I had a picture on my phone with right here. So, but let me see if I have. Let me look at my phone. I might have another one. All right, hold on. Let me see what this one is.
How big is that pig sticker in the photo?
What's that? My nut. Yeah, 14 inches
Okay.
from the end tip of the blade. Let's see. Let's see. Was this a? Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Okay, I got a messenger. That's pretty straight foot.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. So, we did manage to get 3 casts out of this. Yeah, I made sure Kai and his father got 2 of them. I was gonna give them all 3, but they said, oh, well, they only wanted 2 of them, so yeah.
Well, it's good you at least casted them too. So I know a lot of people
Yeah,
who don't.
yeah. I had to make sure. I wanted to make sure, while we were doing them and everything. I mean, I dusted them. I asked them. I said, you guys want a souvenir? I said, I'll go ahead and get the caster, the mixing, the plaster ready. So yeah, I think they were tickled to death about that. I mean, they were excited for it. Now, like if you watch the video, you listen to Kai. I mean, he was like looking all around, trying to. We were looking for more tracks. I mean, they were pointing out a few other things that a couple other tracks possibly related to that. Some of the other sizes kind of looked like they varied, so they were kind of. I mean, I was questioning a couple of the other things, but then again, it was kind of all, very interesting. A couple of the tree limbs that were up high that seemed very interesting that were snapped and broke off. There was one in particular. I think I might have filmed it. I can't remember, but there was one that looked like it got literally broke and ripped off. I didn't see nothing that indicated that it got cut. But yeah, I try to show details of some of that stuff. I think I was more focused on the tracks and stuff. Maybe a couple of the minor structures nearby, but so.
Yeah. See, I out here, Dan, when we find like the breaks, a lot of the breaks that I pay attention to aren't like just ones that look like could be from a snow load where what's been slowly pulled over and it fractures. It's like we actually nicknamed it. We call it paint brushing. And the trees that we find out here sometimes can be anywhere between 4.5 inches around to 6 inches around, and it literally gets twisted and snapped, and you can see where the bark is even twisted. But the tree itself, the part that's broke in, looks like the top of a paintbrush. It's just hundreds of thousands of splinters like facing straight up.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've noticed when a squatch twists and breaks a tree. If you watch some of my videos, you'll hear me explain the back side and the bottom side. You got the back side that's being stretched, and the bottom side is being contracted. And if you look in the middle where the bark's done split and you see the wood, you start seeing splinters. And to an arborist, that's a form of what they call a door hinge effect.
Hmm.
you know, because it starts to splinter, and it splinters, and like you say, a paintbrush
Yep.
is what it does.
Fred, don't you have a really good picture of that? A close up where the tree, it's a good sized little tree, and it's bent, and the bark is out at the bottom and out at the top, almost like
Yeah, but,
in corners, and then the splinters are all in the.
yeah, but I
I
don't know
tried to
how.
find it the other night to post it. We were talking about a similar thing,
Yeah, well,
and
I
I
mean,
didn't see it.
I got a lot. I think the best ripping apart by a Squatch that I have was back in the latter part of 14. I found a cedar tree about 7.5 foot tall that was totally annihilated,
Hmm.
and the top of it was about the last 3 foot, 2.5 foot of it, 3 foot of it was snapped, and it was twisted, you know, kind of like this here, and then the bottom half of the tree and twisted the same way, and then it was, I mean, it was just totally annihilated. And I tried to figure out if it was a bear to do it. Bears tend to have a tendency to stay away from a pine tree unless they're sharpening their claws. 'Cause I got a cedar tree back in my area behind the camp that I found last year that bears and clawed it down to nothing but a pole, and you could see their fingernails all in that tree. But they just kind of like kind of like shred it down or stuff like that. But I got quite a few of them. I just don't know how to share them on here. But it's
I
like when you
just
take, it's
I
like when you,
just sent one. Sorry, go ahead, Fred.
I'll say, see what, like when I cut a tree, I make my, yeah, something like that there. That's a split. That's what they call a door hinge effect. But
Can you
that
see
tree
it,
right
Fred?
there, yeah, that tree
Okay.
right there, you can see where it's broke, but
Hmm.
right here at the back part of it, that tree is half dead. That's why it did that. If the tree was alive, if
Yeah.
the tree was healthy, it wouldn't do that. It would bend, but it wouldn't splinter like that. It would splinter on the inner side of the bark, but not on the outer side.
Hmm.
Now, Ray, see how this is broke? Well, let me go on here. Yeah, see how this is broke right here? That one tree that was right behind, coming from the direction from where the tracks were coming from. Well, there was a what was it? I think it was a pine tree. There was a pine tree that was broke off and splintered that looked like that. But the limb that was coming out, it was probably about a good 4 inches round, and it looked
Hmm.
like this. Now I don't know if that's something that got it. Like I said, it didn't look like it was chopped up or anything. Uh, I don't know. I looked very carefully. I didn't see nothing that was indicating that it was cut. But for a pine tree, I think that I don't know. Pine trees are used for something that thick. I think that would have been. I don't know. It was a young pine tree. The base of the pine tree itself was probably about, I don't know, maybe 10 inches around.
Well,
But
but a pine tree is a softwood, so
yeah,
it would take a lot of strength. I mean, you can take and bend one and break it, but it will not splinter. It takes a tremendous amount of strength to get that to bend it that far to get it to pop and splinter like that.
so
And
yeah,
it,
so
yeah,
you're saying like because of the flexibility of the fibers.
right, exactly.
Ah, okay.
Because you got softwood like pine, maple, um, um, uh, shit, what's that other tree? What's that other thing? I can't think of the name of the other one. But then you got your hardwood: oak, hickory,
Birch.
walnut, birch. There you go. Birch is
Ah,
softwood.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Nice
am
one.
good for something.
Uh-huh. Very interesting.
I keep trying. I
My
keep
my
trying.
hus my husband's a cabinet maker.
Ah,
Uh,
there you go.
hey, that only helps knowledge of wood. Sorry, go ahead,
I
Paul. I
pulled
know
it
you were
back.
trying to.
I pulled up the video and stopped. Stop framed it you know, as best I could because it's really choppy right now for whatever reason. It must be the internet connection or something.
Hmm.
But on like frames, I think 34 to 44, there's one point where you point at it, the track. You see your finger,
Right.
and and then there's of course, and when you get to about 44, you're kind of back from it a little bit. So it does come out quite a bit into the trail. Um, the only thing, like I said, when you find, I tell you what, one of the best things I used to be a lineman, and I used to set telephone poles, and we used what they call a plumb bob, and I'd take a nut, a big nut, and tie a string onto it,
Yep.
and I could hold that nut up and take that string, and I could get that telephone pole straight as it could be, standing
I
straight
got
up and down. All right, carry a little piece of shoelace or whatever, or I use paracord, and then you know, something heavy, and suspend it over the center of the track and hold it up, and that's another way, instead of using just a tape measure, that you can take and see if the whatever it was that came through there was vertical or horizontal, because
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I
know,
didn't
that's the thing.
think about
Yeah,
that
plumb
plumb
bob
bob
works great.
trick, Paul.
Yeah. Now, one thing with that area that actually passed through, you could tell. I mean, if you were in there, I mean, it wasn't just in that general spot. It wasn't thick. Like, I mean, give or take, there was a spot or two. You could have ducked a little bit, but I was actually at one point I was actually standing straight up with no restrictions. Um, you know, there was stuff on the side, but you know, I mean, I think anything that was big enough, you know, keeping, you know, especially if it was at nighttime, I'm sure brushing up a limb or two probably would have. Those small little straggly limbs and stuff that, you know, kind of strung off the main branches and stuff. But 'cause yeah, that was kind of, you know, soft stuff. Some of it was, you know, kind of thick, you know, or low hanging. Especially when I found that first track I found, you know, I was kind of like, well, I came from the other side, so I was kind of like underneath or ducking to kind of look at it, you know. But yeah, when I realized when I got behind, because I didn't get behind till after Greg's son Kai was behind there, starting to like point at, like, look here, look at this one. I was like, holy crap, you're right. You know, you could see the impressions, you know, and so. But once I got behind there, it was actually almost looked like it was clear right there, you know. But then that all the thickness ran, you know, parallel with the roadway there, so which was interesting. Um,
We got to also rule
but
out
yeah,
the
I mean,
fact
like I
that,
said, it
you
was.
know, if there
Huh.
were other campers there, if maybe they go down there towards the stream and look to see where the tracks came up. I found a trackway in Oklahoma, and we thought, man, we have found the best Bigfoot trackway you'd ever seen on an old cutout road. And I followed it all the way back to where it went off a bank. And when I got down to the lower side of the bank, I found two pieces of toilet paper. And you know, so what you're trying to do is make sure that when you're, you know, when, because we thought I mean, me and Henry May had even poured some of the tracks because, you know, they were just perfectly formed, you know, and it turned out to be that the guy that cleared the road with the bulldozer had jumped off the bulldozer and went to use the bathroom, and he had on muck boots, and so when he stepped, it left nice, deep, long impressions. And we thought sure as world we found a you know, Bigfoot trackway, but when I got down to the bottom of the bank, there was two pieces of toilet paper, and I realized no, it was somebody. And so it's just, we're just trying to, you know, as researchers, we're trying to first we want to rule out all the possibilities before we make a claim.
Oh
Correct.
yeah, absolutely. Now I will say, two out of the three casts that we did make, and I'm hoping that um, Greg does get those pictures to me as soon as possible because they did display toes in them. toes were displayed in them, which was very incredible, considering that these tracks could have been from, like I said, a year to 3 years, because like I said, there are the incidents that happened in this area were one was a year, one was two. Well, the other one's been about 3 years by now. So, um, like I said, but those tracks there, I don't know if those were associated with what happened to those campers or not. Um, but like I said, that behind where the direction they were coming from, I thought it was just a simple path, but I was told that it was actually, it used to be an old road, a roadway through there. And then, like I said, if you go down that old roadway, and if you look across the stream, like I said, there's a hollow, and um, where the individual said he's heard some weird things, noises come from that area, which they could have been a lot distant and carrying through, bouncing off the walls of that hollow, but. Like I said, when I call this a hollow, this is a very narrow, deep, steep hollow. Which, if you look at it, it looks like a almost like a V. Because right now there's water coming down it. Usually there's, from what I understand, what I was told, that there's not always water flowing through there. It's usually you can walk right through there, but because there's a small little stream feeding into the big stream, or a little creek, you know. Um, but I
I got
was,
a question for Freddie.
yeah.
Hey, Freddie,
What?
Yeah, I'm here.
when's turkey?
Oh,
When is turkey season?
April 11th?
Okay, so they're not turkey hunting there yet.
No, but we
Nah.
no, we still got guys going in and check them out. My biggest one was killed
Okay.
in the back of Kennedy Fields, and that was the only bird back there. So I've talked to a lot of guys here in the last couple days, and um, they're gonna be hitting from the Turkey Pin Ridge all the way to Bald Mountain. So they're gonna be hitting all the
Okay,
areas
so
there.
are they pre-scouting? Are they pre-scouting those areas then?
Only the hardcore turkey hunters. Yeah, I'm one of them. So yeah, but
Then you
this
know what
time of
I'm
year,
leading to.
yeah,
Because sometimes a turkey hunter, depending on the seasons, again, this is where a researcher he gets all possibilities out of the way. That a turkey hunter wasn't in there, because a turkey hunter will do that. They'll pre-scout an area out to find out where the birds are roosting.
yep,
Oh
Walk
yeah.
around any large pine trees that are close by and see if there's any turkey poop on the ground, because they'll roost up in those trees and then they'll fly down to the field.
yeah.
Um,
Well, that
so
one,
you want to make sure you
yeah.
just
Well, last spring, it was the last 2 days, and at 5:30 in the morning, I heard a owl, a hawk, and a turkey at the exact same time, right there at the edge of the road when something hit the woods there.
hmm.
And the nearest pine thicket in Kennedy Fields is off to the actually behind the apple orchard is a pine thicket, big pine thicket, and every other place, there's but we got scatters of pine up there to the left, right of Kennedy Fields, back up there where I first got my head blowed off. There's pines back there, but most of them are gonna be behind between Turkey Pin Ridge and the apple orchard, and and the main turkey's gonna be right there at the apple orchard where the thick pines are. It's got like 100 acres of pines back there, but the rest of the pines from the apple orchard to the Kennedy Fields is like put it in acres. It's like 100 acres between the apple orchard and Kennedy Fields, and there's trees scattered up through there, pine trees and stuff.
Hey,
you know how to
so
tell. You know how to tell if the turkeys are in the area is you look around the bases of trees to see if they scratched out around the trees or. So when
Oh
you
yeah,
look at a trackway, that's going to be some of the things you're going to look for is make sure that there's no hunters in that area that might be pre-scouting. If there's bird activity, then you can pretty much figure that that's what that was. It was a turkey hunter. and he's, you know, trying to get as close as he can to the field. And if you're kind of squatted down or kind of bent over, you'll tend to have a little bit wider stride than you would standing straight up.
Yeah, yeah, I've noticed.
So, you know,
We've got from what I've seen so far, we've had. I got one flock that's in the apple orchard now, and from what it looks like, they're all jakes and hens. From what I've seen of them, so apparently they're hanging in the apple orchard behind the apple orchard in the pine thickets.
did you
And
hear any
everything.
turkeys while you were there, Daniel? Did you hear any turkeys sounding off or?
Not in that general location, because I know. All right, right now where you park to come in, there's a gate. You can't drive in there right now, not till the hunting season opens up. So yeah, it's from where we park. It's a quarter mile down, because when you walk in, you walk right into the fields where the one side's hunting, the one side's for for camp use. Where we were in the camp use area. Now I know from there to where the lake is, it's 2 miles from the to the lake, and as far as the only turkey sign I've seen or come across was probably a good 2 or 3 miles up behind the camp, and that was a couple weeks ago. Last time I heard turkeys, I did see some turkey tracks up that way, and there is turkey tracks in the field because I was told the turkeys come into that field where I seen the deer that night. I think part of and this is something I've actually got to thinking about. This is my theory and what I believe, because I mean. With me there, I seen the details of the tracks displaying the toes. Now, give or take, a couple of them didn't show the toes so well. There was one or two that did show pretty well. Because after I was told, I was curious about going up that hollow, but when the gentleman, the guy I work with, told me about that hollow, he brought it up, and when he told me about the weird noises and stuff that come from that hollow and everything. I was like, well, I told him, I said, well, Richard, I almost wanted to go check it out, but I said I might do that when the water's a little lower. The water's up a little high right now, but where I can cross through and go up in there. But well, my theory behind it is where and if he was set up in that camp like he said he was, that was a very spot because I learned this afterwards because he described the exact spot where he was at. I said, Richard, that's where I was at. That's the exact spot I was at. He said, that's where it happened to me. That's where my camper got pushed. And so what I'm thinking, knowing that the deer come into that field, they come in off the opposite ridge where the deer and turkey come down. They come down into the ridge, into the field, because in the field there's big patches of heavy thickets and bushes. And I believe maybe that deer, I believe the squatch, I felt like he might have been interrupted, and he was maybe, peed off that these campers are in my way. Perhaps he was making an approach because those deer come right into the field, and I was watching them both on my night vision, and then I first spotted them without the night vision because I had my lantern on, and this was probably about 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I seen the deer. I first saw the eye shine of the deer, and so, because on the one side, there's only hunting allowed on the one side, and so, but that's my theory. I feel like the squatches were stalking, and then perhaps with those campers there, the campers were in the way, because on the other side of that ridge behind that stream, from what I was told, there was nothing but more woods up there, because I haven't been up there. I know I saw a lot of pines and stuff up there, but I was told it goes deeper into the national forest up that way, so which was pretty interesting.
Well, you do know that you can't you can't stalk a walk up on a deer at night. They're in the field, yes, but they're nocturnal.
Right.
They see in the dark, and so to try to sneak up on one in the dark because you're in the dark and you think they can't see you, yeah, they can see you.
Oh yeah, we knew they saw us because
yeah.
they kept looking up at us.
Yeah,
but they weren't paying us no mind.
Yeah, I've tried to sneak up on a few behind the camp one night.
Yeah, you won't do it. It's like a turkey. I had somebody once said they thought that the Squatch were hunting the turkeys, and I said, nah. I said you won't turkey can see you blink at 50 yards. But now, of course, being ambush predators, they're going to be on the trails, and they're going to be beside large trees or brush piles or whatever, just laying in wait. But the Squatch going up towards a herd of deer on the green field, it won't happen. The deer will see them because they are nocturnal, and that's why you see video game cameras, trail cams, with big bucks and at 2 in the morning, pitch black, not full moon, pitch black, and they're walking around. They're not bumping into trees. They see everything, just clear as a bell. I kind of have a deal with the whole deer thing, and whether or not the Bigfoot actually hunt them down, like run them down. It'd be really hard to do, but to be an ambush predator and to be waiting on, like, where that trail comes down to the creek, to be down below it, waiting on one to come off the top of the trail and bail off towards that creek, he's gone, he's dead. What you have to do, when you find a trackway into a green field, especially a big open green field, is you have to do a kind of a deduction and start deducting the possibilities, because for them to run out into an open field full of deer would be just pointless. But to get up to the edge of the field to see where the deer are and then back off a little bit and then get behind a big tree or a low spot is definitely a possibility. I think a deer, and if they killed a deer, I found bones from a deer carcass, and you could tell that it hadn't been gotten by predators because the soft cartilage on the end of the bones was still intact. It wasn't even chewed on, but the bones had been peeled off clean. There was nothing on them, no meat whatsoever, no knife marks, no skin marks, no nothing. For them to take off running after one in the middle of the dark through the woods would be crazy. But wait in ambush, and what you may have found is where one might have came up, he's looking the situation over and then figuring out where to go from there. He may have backed off the field just below that drop where it goes down the creek, or they may have got behind that big tree that was right there where that gentleman was taking the pictures, and just kind of waited it out. But you said you did find some deer kills?
Yeah, well, there was one that was actually not far from that back roadway behind our camp. It was down a little ways in the woods. It was scattered. Now, there was one over in the field behind a cedar tree and a bunch of thick bushes when I was walking around, scouting around the field in the back part. Because now, keep in mind, the field itself, there's patches of it that are clear. There's not all of it's clear because there's a lot of it's got a lot of thick that tree, bush, whatever, and then, well, it was actually underneath of a pine, well, not a pine, a cedar tree with other bushes surrounding it. Now that was the whole carcass except for the skull. I didn't see no skull there, but the rest of it was there. I'm not sure entirely how old it was, but the bones were clean on that one. There was no flesh on that one whatsoever, and the bones were milky white. That's how white they were. So they were.
Yeah, a long time bleached.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah, that's been there a while.
Exactly. Yeah. Now the other one, like I said, still had meat, flesh on it, and you can see where it, like on the joints, and you can see where it's been ripped off. You can see the raw blood that was dried up on it. And like I said, the limbs were snapped. They were snapped in an angle. Like I said, I got that on a video footage that I have yet to upload, and it started off with me finding one leg, and then probably another 20 feet away, I found the other leg, and then down by the stream itself, right on the bottom of the stream, I found the rest of the hide and the carcass down below. And then again, there was no skull with that one, which was weird. So. There was still part of it missing. I don't know where the rest of it might have gone to, but maybe some other coyotes or something might have drug it off or just did something with it. So it's hard to say exactly what could have done that one. But I found interesting was the bone snapped in in a very what do you call it? It was snapped in a long angle. Like it was, I don't know, something. I almost want to believe that there was possibly something with hands that ripped it or broke it to make it snap like that. But
Hey
Well, I'll
Dan.
tell you,
apparently it's, yeah.
I'll tell you what you do. You find somebody that's got a deer leg or whatever, get them to save you the bone, and then you try and break that bone.
Mm.
You won't break it with your bare hands. Now you might take a rock and break it, but you won't break it with your bare hands. Their bones are very, very tough.
Mm.
I had, but now if you was to take a deer and you were to grab his back leg and you were to force that leg, you could break it at the joint. That if it's broke at the joint where the kneecap is, then of course you're going to incapacitate the animal. But to just snap that leg bone, that's some force. I don't even know if you could do it with a baseball bat.
Mm.
No, I've tried it. It won't work.
Yeah, because see, deer run when they're running through the woods, they're hitting everything, and they're hitting all kind of things with those legs, and so their legs are pretty tough.
You gotta expect, man, they could run through stuff like that right there
Mhm.
and barely make a noise.
And plus on the carcass, when you find a carcass, you want to really examine it and look to see if if the back straps have been removed, if now the front shoulders, they're not connected by a ball joint, but now the rear hindquarters are. There is a tendon that runs through the ball into the socket, and that's tough to pull apart. But now the front shoulders, you can just rip those right off. I mean, and if you're not finding the skulls, then that kind of tells me that there's a possibility that there was poachers in there, and because that's what they're hunting for anyway, is the head, the antlers, and they might take the front shoulders because they don't have to cut that tendon. They can just take a knife and make a circular cut and pull that shoulder right off. It's easy to pull off, ain't it, Freddie?
Yeah, the front shoulder, man, it's just being held on by muscle anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take and lay them on the side, and you grab that leg, and you just start pulling after you skin them out. The muscles will start ripping. It'll come right on off of there. Pretty as a picture. But on the back is a joint, and usually when they try to, they'll leave some meat on too, on the deer. When you take and try to break it, the muscle's got to tear, and it takes a tremendous amount of strength to twist it and pull it out of there. That's what people don't realize, how strong a Squatch is. They're the only ones that can do it. If a bear tries it, you can find teeth mark. Just bear, coyote, wolf, bobcat, anything they're gonna leave teeth mark. You got to have thumbs and a hand to be able to do what a Squatch can do.
Hey, I'm looking for a picture right now. I want to show you guys because it's right on that subject.
Okay.
So give me just a minute.
Well, they showed a video where these two African bushmen had found some lions that had downed an antelope, and they actually walked up and interrupted the lions as they were feeding, and the lions scattered, and they walked up, pulled out their knife, and they pulled both front shoulders off that antelope and walked away.
Yep.
So that shows you how easy it is to get the front shoulders off. Most time, if coyotes are pulling on one, that's what they'll do. They'll pull those front shoulders off, but the hindquarters will stay on because they're attached with that tendon that runs through the ball into the joint.
Well, we're starting to have hogs in the area now. They're migrated up from Alabama.
Yeah, you just wait, old man. You come on down here to Alabama, and I'm gonna take you hunting.
Oh, that sounds good. Sounds good. But I've seen video of hogs attacking fawns and young does, and that's something us hunters up here in Virginia don't like. Coyotes and hogs are two of the main enemies of us hunters.
When do
And
the white-tailed deer up in Virginia? When do they drop their fawns?
about around the middle of April, into May.
That early? Wow.
Yeah. Getting
Yeah.
That's
close.
when you need to. That's when you need to be in the woods because here in Alabama it's June, and the Squatch are super active. I mean, because you can walk up on a deer fawn and you can just pick it up. They won't run.
Yeah, every year when I go turkey hunting, about like the last week of spring gobbler, I'll always walk up. I always walk to Kennedy Fields. I'll go in certain ways, and I always find at least two fawns that are probably like a week or so old, laying there, and they will not move and everything. Now I have come across, and I was back at the end of summer, well, in the middle of summer, I was coming out of the back of the apple orchard, and I walked around, walked to my left, and I just started turning right, and I froze, and there was a doe there. And right down in front of her was a fawn laying there. And she wouldn't move for nothing, but when she turned around and run, that fawn finally got up. And that fawn's fast and everything.
Let me tell you a story. When
Okay.
we lived in the mountains, we right out soon. We lived off the blacktop, and kind of up a long dirt lane. And there was a stream back there, and there was some ponds. They had dug rocks in years past and whatever. And after I had James, I was walking down the dirt lane and back a little bit, for for some exercise or whatever. And I had gone down and around, down, and there was an overhang of trees, and it was beautiful, beautiful. Coming back, apparently there was a doe with twins. And apparently what happened was the twins had crossed the dirt lane, but she had not crossed the dirt lane yet. And I jogged in between coming back up the dirt lane. And daggum, that doe ran me home. She stomped, and I heard something come out of the blue, and buddy, she stomped. She didn't run after me, but she stomped and snorted. And yes, she did, and she made it damn clear that I needed to get out of Dodge. And scared the shit out of me. I don't know if I've run that fast since.
Well, when I was working,
you damn right, a doe will run you off, buddy.
Yeah, but fawns are designed. It's like a rabbit, a doe, a fawn, whatever. When they're born, like a rabbit, will take and lay its, will have its babies, and she'll leave them. And that's what a doe does. She'll take and leave it.
I know, and they stay.
Yeah, and that's the opportunity that squatches and hogs look for, or predators look for.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think thinking back, I think there was a pasture across a little line of trees, and then the road and a hill that went up was all wooded. And I think the fawns had crossed the road ahead of me, and I didn't know it or see them, and she hadn't got across the road yet. Anyway, that's my feeling. But damn, she didn't scare the hell out of me.
Oh yeah, they did.
She stomped and snorted and made me, told me damn point blank I needed to get out of Dodge, and I did.
Well, you know, it's like Paul said.
I
You know,
didn't go walking or jogging anymore.
you know, it's like Paul said. You know, he's got a good point. Right now, during the spring and summer months when the does drop their fawns, that's when the squatches are going to be at their most active. And Daniel's got a hell of an area. He's got mountainous areas, so he's got a bigger area for deer to be in and everything. So, you know, squatches will go after them too. You know.
Well, squatches may be having their babies this time of year too.
I don't know.
Well, the Bigfoots, you know,
do know.
they don't have young every year. They're not like deer and hogs, and I mean it takes probably 14 to 15 years before a female reaches maturity. On some primates, it's even longer than that. I mean, I just don't think that they have them like, you know, deer, and they're not every year. They're not popping out babies. They'd have so many babies following them and whining and crying. It'd be and
Well,
plus they won't have a young unless the food sources have to be plentiful. And they wouldn't want to have a young born in the wintertime. They'd want it to be born in springtime when the food sources are plentiful, because then they've only got a short period of time to get the young healthy enough to be able to survive the winter.
Yeah.
And
well,
so,
I
you know,
agree, but everything, most things have their young in the spring, and then that gives you the summer. That would give the mother the summer of good, healthy eating for milk
Well,
to keep
no,
them
it's like
healthy.
well, you know, it's like in my area. I do know that they come back to where they were born at every year, whether they have babies or not. That's something I've been researching on here for past since I got into this. And I did find out that they do come back to where they were born at, whether they do give birth or they don't give birth. And I guess we lost Daniel.
Oh, hey, I'm back. Sorry, guys. This is the only picture I could find. For some reason, I got cut off, so I went digging. But if you look, you'll see the deer leg in a tree. And if you look where it's not the best picture right there. I can get. I think Dan, I sent one to him. But
where you got a picture posted at?
It was in the group thing. If you give me a second, I'll try to send it into the Hangouts. It was on Facebook. No, it was on the for Dan, I think. Give me a minute. Usually he puts them in, but he's not there. Give me one sec. See what I can do here.
I'll tell you what. I'm looking at his. I'm looking at his from right there to tent, and he's got there's pine trees or birch trees, whatever you want to call them. He's got that. He's got a good field right across from him, right across from the camp, and everything. So that looks pretty good.
Yeah, I missed a lot of what you guys are saying. For some reason, I got kicked out, so I don't know why.
Oh yeah, well we was talking about squatches right now. They're when like in my area around the middle of April into May is when the does start dropping fawns, and the and and in Paul's area he said when they start dropping fawns, that's when the squatches are at their peak, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, like I agree with that too, because like around here where we live in Ohio, we have like a crazy abundance of deer. Like they're booming, and there's a lot of fawn predation by everything in this area, and I just have a feeling that that's what you're referencing, right?
That's what say that last part again.
Like that they're actually picking off fawn here and there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a good easy
that
food
that
source.
was the start of the conversation.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like I said, here we have so many. I mean, we actually, it's not uncommon to actually catch a coyote running with one just before dark. My father has actually been witness to it twice. So,
Yeah, I've seen coyotes do it. So like I said, during the spring, us varmint hunters, predator hunters, we don't like deer, we don't like coyotes, and we don't like hogs. And
no, we don't.
we're starting to get hogs in our area now. They were first spotted in over in Daniels area, over around Churchville, and now
Mm.
and the guy spotted 20 of them. So now they're starting to work their way over here well, they're inside the Shenandoah Valley right now.
Well, there's one good thing about hogs, Fred. You know what that is, right?
Oh, they taste damn good.
Yeah, they are tasty. So,
All right, Daniel. Anyway, Daniel, he keeps losing connection, so he's trying to get back in right now. Everything. Well, Paul, I got some good loads for hogs, reloads that I reload myself, and they're hot, hot.
yeah. Yeah, I'm actually going with Dan Baker here. He's got to make the day. I don't know when he wants to go. We're going to Southern Ohio for hog. He's taking a shotgun and a 357 sidearm. I'm taking my 30-06.
I'm just taking it. I use a 243, but I load my loads hot, and I use my partay is long range shooting.
Right.
I'm the type of person that when I see something at a good range, I try to perfect. I have like pictures of deer, that look life size, and I'll have one at 100, 200, all the way up to 1,000 yards, and I try to do heart shots and head shots.
And that's the way to go, man.
And
yeah,
with the hog, you've got to hit them. I guess you got to hit them right at the base of the ear. Right, Paul?
Well, I mean, I hunt 'em with a tactical 12 gauge shotgun with slugs, and I shoot them in the head. I don't shoot a body shot.
No, I usually shoot the last hog I shot. I shot right at the bottom of the ear.
Yeah.
That blows the back of the brain and the spinal cord off.
I just posted the picture.
Huh?
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and pull that up in just a second. I just wanted to share. This is the front view of where the just across from camp right here. You can see my tent to the right.
Oh, that's spruce trees.
And then there's the field.
Yeah, that one little skinny one right there in the front. That's a bull pine.
Yeah, you got some, and then some cedar in there, and then it goes up the ridge right over. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I just want to let you guys see what it looks like.
Yeah. Is it private property across from the camp, or is that national forest?
We lost him.
Did we lose him?
Daniel has gone missing.
Yes. That's terrible, man. Terrible. Yeah.
He's got so much stuff going all at the same time, and he's trying to keep up with all of it. And I think it just chunks him off once in a while.
No.
Well, Fred, since you're the right-hand man, me and Dan were talking. That was the reason he wanted me to come on. Oh,
okay.
I came up with a kind of a newer idea. That's something I did just recently, and I posted it on APE, which is American Primate Exploration. You guys are going to be coming out with us. We're going to be doing a joint expedition this year, and the idea I came up with, and it actually panned out pretty well. And I'm going to do more research into it. Obviously, I'm in the beginning stages, But if everything goes correctly, I'm going to try to write a thesis paper almost on it. And what it was is I was just actually watching a thing on Native Americans, and they were talking about here in Ohio about the old Native American trails that go back and forth to the burial grounds.
Right.
And there's two species like they talk about a lot here. You know, the Lakotas talked about a species that was actually quite friendly, and
Yeah.
they actually even left corn for them at the end of the season and stuff. And they
All right,
say,
I'm sorry, I'm back.
"Hey, what's up, buddy? I was trying to cover you before you got in here." Is it okay if I tell them about what we were talking about? Yep, I think
Lost
he's
him
gone
again.
again. All right,
He's
well, I'll
gone
continue.
again. Go
I'll
It sounded-
continue it just to so you guys know what's going on. So what it was is the Native American trails. I actually heard him talking about it, so I went online and I pulled up a map of the old Native American trails that are basically left over just in the annals of history here in Ohio, and you know they're mapped out the best they could be. So what I decided to do was to also go and look for where there's been a lot of Bigfoot reports in Ohio, and overlay that map on top of the old Native American trails and see if there was any, you know, correlation between the two. And they actually match up really, really, really well.
So you're talking about
The hot spot.
They match up 80% of the two maps match up on the old trails.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll put them up. You look at them. How's that sound? But yes, they do match up really, really close. Here comes the Native American map right here. Give me a second here.
All right, we
were talking about the other night, and I was saying that the Appalachian Trail and the Parkway, and so many of our roads were game trails, Indian trails, and wouldn't it make sense that Bigfoot would have always traveled those trails anyway, and now maybe
I think they still do.
And seen a little more often on those trails.
All right, Daniel said, I'm going to jump off and end this soon. It's messing up on me bad.
Okay, well, real quick, if you look, I put the Native American Towns and Trails of Ohio up on the page. And then the purple one with the red circles you'll see is actually Bigfoot. It's on the, I don't know what you call this. It's underneath the, hold on a second. Like it's in the.
In the what? I mean,
Hangouts. Hangouts?
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Well, that's where we are.
Oh, I see Steve's Big Squatch hunting potbelly pigs is all I see. And then I got Daniel down here saying he's going to jump off and end this soon.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It says Hangouts. Can you see it, Kale?
I don't see.
Fred, if I send it to you direct, can you? Oh, it says someone just said quit sending them pictures, so I don't know who it is. I must be sending it to the wrong person.
Send it to my message.
Here, that's what I'm going to do. Give me just a second, okay?
Okay, send a message on Facebook and I'll post it.
Yeah.
Hey, Ray.
I say, I don't know who it is. I'm trying.
Oh, hey, it was James.
I kept getting pictures sent to me on my phone.
Okay, it was James getting the pictures. My son.
Well, tell him to share them to.
Who is that?
All right, Fred, I'm about to send them to you directly.
Okay.
He can't share them to my Facebook.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm sending them to Fred. He'll get them in just a sec.
Okay. Yeah, it was James.
I apologize. I don't know who it was. I thought that was our group, so I'm not a tech guy, so this is all still kind of new. Here you go, Fred. It's coming. You ready?
Get somewhere.
All right, send it to my Facebook.
It's coming right now, buddy. It's coming in the messenger. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's what I wanted at.
All right, there you go. You'll see the Native American one first, then it's the purple one, the overlay with the Bigfoot sightings.
Okay.
The larger the circle, the more numbers of reports. And then the one is the last one is the one I overlaid, onto it. So.
Well, at least we know who you were sending them to, and it wasn't some total stranger out there in the.
Yeah, that's the truth.
in the stratosphere.
Hey, Ray.
Right. Yes.
Okay. You're in Ohio.
I'm in Ohio, right?
Okay. You familiar with East Fork State Park?
Where? I didn't hear you. East?
East Fork State Park.
I have not been to East Fork. I've been to Salt Fork. I've been down to Beaver Creek, Mahoning Park. Mostly right now we've been a lot of northeast Ohio.
Okay. Park is down below Cincinnati.
Okay.
And East Fork State Park is a really unique place. It has Native American civilizations dating back 10,000 years in that area. Mainly the have you heard of the mound or the Hope? Might have been the Hope or this mound.
Yeah, I do know
I
what
was
you're
reading
talking
an
about.
article. You can pull it up. Okay. Well, the mound builders were prevalent until the Iroquois came into the area, and the Iroquois basically eradicated them, killed off all the mound builders. Well, the Iroquois, they have a name for Sasquatch, and it's stone giant.
Y'all see if
And that's a very you need to look into that. If you're in the Ohio area, you need to look into that. I'm telling you, there's more there than just folklore. There's some good watching in there.
Yeah, I definitely we're gonna go.
Salt Fork.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see. We're definitely gonna do a lot more. Paul, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I see. It's really hard. I'm getting like a back feed when I'm talking too. But yeah, no, I agree. The Stone Giants is something we know, like we've actually talked about, me and Dan Baker, and he does a lot more research into it than I have, but I'm just starting to because of what I really think the correlation means. I also believe, like, I know you've heard of the Genosquins, you know that. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, the Genosqua.
Yeah. Well,
they,
yeah, that's
they think that their skin. They said they kind of looked like they were covered in stone.
stone, right? Hence.
Because it was the mud that was packed onto their hair to,
Right. I figured you would know, so yeah. But that's the other thing. Dan Baker has been big studying into that. Like I said, all the old Native American folklore was pretty much new to me until I started talking with him. He's more like that historian. This whole thing was honestly, like I said, that I'm working on now. I'll be learning more and more about it as I go on because it was kind of like a happy accident, honestly. And it just kind of made sense to me about doing it, and it would make sense if they had shared the same habitat, that they would still possibly be using the same original trails. And that's all I was thinking about it the whole time. So.
All right, I'm sending the pictures to the podcast group. I'm sending them one at a time. So if y'all want to see them, go to the podcast. Shit. Okay, just go to the podcast thing. There you go. All right, I got one more to go.
I'm looking at. You talking about the link that you posted?
No, go to the where it said podcast group.
Oh, okay.
I'm posting pictures on there.
Is he in that one?
Well, what I probably have to do is I have to go to Paul's Facebook and send them to him that way. So let me go ahead and do that now. Okay, Paul Hosley, here we go. All right. Okay. All right, Paul, I'm going to send you these individuals.
Okay.
Huh?
All right.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna send you the. I'm gonna start from the first one. And I'm gonna go up to the third one. I'm sending 3 of them. Okay, there's one.
Got it.
All right, here's 2. The second one is the first one. The second one is the third one, and the last one is gonna be the first one. All right.
Okay, so Ray, you're telling me that the second photo that's kind of like purplish looking is the overlay that you did?
There should be one that's the Native American trails and towns, and then there should be a purple one, which is not mine. That was just a sightings report in Ohio. That was based on all the eyewitness reports. Unfortunately, the thing about it is on APE, I gave credit. I said to whoever did it because I couldn't find who did it originally because it was sent to me and I looked at it best I could. I literally do everything on my phone, so it ain't the easiest for all of it. But the third one where it looks like, where you can see through it almost, the overlaid, that's the one that I did. All I did was overlay the image, and it wasn't a perfect overlay because, like I said, keep in mind I'm working with a cell phone, but it's pretty darn close, and I still think it speaks volumes. It just needs to be more looked at, And I'm going to try to do the same thing with the best I can with bait, and see if it's possible to link them up like that.
They are very interesting, and I looked at all 3. I'm going to look at all 3 more later, and
Okay.
The thing that I found most interesting about it when I did it, and it just struck me crazy, Fred and Paul both, and is that the fact is like the hot spots, or the larger red circles, some of them are like overlaid like right on them. I mean, dead on them, or literally will intersect 2 of the old Native American trails. And I just thought that was actually pretty fascinating. So.
The one in Portage is right smack on it.
Yep, isn't that
Portage
crazy?
County.
Yeah,
that's
that one
right. I mean, it's just right.
That one that you're looking at in Portage County too actually runs right through one of our research areas that we call 306.
Is Daniel still there?
I saw he come on, but it looks like
Yeah, I'm here.
Again.
Oh,
there
okay,
he is.
okay.
Yeah, that Portage County, that's 2 trails intersecting right there.
Isn't that amazing?
Where that big red circle is.
Yep.
That's pretty good work, buddy.
Thank you.
And that's what I like seeing, taking the Native American culture because they've known about these things for thousands of years.
Yeah, exactly.
And the trail trees, that's just like, the trail trees. The Native Americans, made these trail trees where they bowed it over and they tied it down to the ground and they let the limbs grow vertically. And wherever that pointer is pointing at, you can follow it and it'll take you to a resource.
Yep, I found that out.
Yeah, I'm real big into linking the Native American culture to the Sasquatch as well.
Well, hey, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear it, man. Like I said, the way I've approached it is you got to understand. I came into this whole field was originally by an accident, and I used to be a professional trapper. So the way I was always thinking was that, don't look for where they've been, look for where they are. But now I'm starting to think, after doing this especially, that history should be a great teacher, and I think that it shows right there that they're basically the Native Americans knew what they were doing, and they still do, and they still know where they're at, they still know what they are, and we need now it's like Dan Baker is the one who always said, oh, you got to be more and more thinking about the past to keep the present going, and I just I believe that now. So now, like I said, I'm going to try to build a database doing this and see how it goes.
So you were a crabber?
Yeah, he's a professional trapper for the ODNR.
Oh, trapper.
Trapper, right? I did
Oh,
nuisance
okay.
animal here in Medina County, but I worked out of Portage also, which is, like I said, it's a long story, but we to put it mildly, it was funny because I actually never even believed in these things at all, up until about almost 4 years ago. And because I had been everywhere doing stuff like this, and I always thought, oh, it's just a neat little hokey kind of tale for the kids. And then I was with two friends in an area I had been hundreds of times just before dusk, and we saw it, one come like right out of a brush line basically. At first we saw eyes, and I thought it was a horse, and it went into the woods, and I just kind of blew it off. And my one friend, I'm not gonna go through the whole story again, but like my friend basically wanted to see how big it was, started walking across, and it came back, and it looked right at him, and it stood up, and it was absolutely massive. And we don't, where I'm at here in Ohio, there's very, very, very few sightings of bears, and this thing still would have dwarfed a black bear by a lot. I mean, it was around 8.5 foot, and I would say every bit of almost 4 foot across. So I mean, like at the shoulders,
Wow.
it was massive, and ever since then I've been addicted. So
Yeah,
Cool.
last time I was up in Saltport State Park, I stayed up there for a whole week, and went to the park service and told him, I said, you have bears? And he said, no, we don't get bears in Ohio. And I showed him a picture of the tracks. When I showed him a picture of the tracks, I said, what's that? And he said, that's a bear track. And I said, yeah, you know where that was? And he said, where? I said, your public beach.
there you go.
And
Right.
then I think it was right after, not long after that, that a Bigfoot researcher actually captured a bear on thermal imaging in Salt Fork. And so the bears are in Ohio. But it's like you said, they're just, you don't see them. Um, I've been hunting since I was 9 years old, and I can
Mhm.
only tell you one time that I've seen a bear. Um, Unless there's something for him to come out where you are. I've seen a bear in Tennessee because the bear was trying to raid our garbage cans, and he actually picked up a big metal box that they had made to put the garbage cans in. He flipped it over,
Well, come
and
on
he
down
was
here.
huge.
Come on up here to Virginia.
Yeah.
I'm going
Oh,
to.
I saw one in Pennsylvania. So
That's huge.
I was gonna say I'm in East North Carolina and I'm almost 50 and I've seen 15 or more in my life.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
lived 15
Well,
years in the mountains, but still, they're all over down here.
hey, Paul, I'll tell you one. I'll go even one better. Is I've been arguing. I mean, I stopped trapping literally about 4 years back, around the same. Just swear to you, it's around the same time everything happened with the Bigfoot stuff. But I was actually I kept telling the guy who used to run it, his name was Rick Ludit, the ODNR out in Portage Lakes, and I kept telling him that we had cougar here. And he kept arguing with me that, oh, there's an occasional sighting, but it was a domesticated pet or something that got out and blah, blah, blah. And last year, when we were doing, one of the researchers, not me, but they actually caught a cougar on a camera trap just outside of one of our locations we investigate in northeast Ohio. And I just laughed. I said, I know they've been here forever. I found tracks. And but they used to laugh at me. I'd show them pictures, and they're like, oh yeah, no, 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 you're this or that, this or that. But they're coming back here pretty hardcore. We've got bobcat moving back in here too. So
Well, you go to Daniels area and you'll find brown ones and black ones. We had one
really,
called
Like what?
a black cat.
It ain't a
I
mountain lion.
I think they're mountain lion because I mean their head's a little wider at the top, and a little more beefier, kind of like a pit bull type look. But to me, they're still a mountain lion, a puma.
well, I saw something. Yeah, I saw something about that where they said that what is it? Every something like 100th generation, there's some kind of genome that becomes prominent, and the fur will turn a real darkish color, almost black.